Hello! My name is Daniel Francis, and this is my best friend, my girlfriend, my co-host,
Katie Ludlow, and I am a Swiftie.
And I am not. And this is...
Our songs.
Our films.
Every episode, we watch and rate a different Taylor Swift music video.
And try to objectively judge something that is inherently and deeply subjective. But this week, we'll be taking a look at Cardigan. Let's start out by sharing our personal perception points for this one, which are our gut reactions before all of the nitpicking. I gave this video a 7.
I also gave it a 7.
Wow. All right. We're on
the same page.
Same page this time. Okay.
That's always fun.
That's always nice. I've got a little bit of trivia. Not trivia.
Facts.
Stats. Credits and trivia things.
Yeah.
For the song, there are actual credits for this video.
Yeah?
And it made me feel good.
Daniel is always like, well, did you write any of the people that did the instrumentals? And I'm like, I don't even know where to find that, so we never even look for it.
Well, and I'm not going to list every single person who worked and touched this song, but I want to credit the people who are not just the singer, you know? Like,
that's fair.
The people behind the scenes
right.
who do a lot of work. Anywho, it was written by Taylor Swift and Aaron Dessner.
I love Aaron. He recently was a guest on the Eras tour. Not so recently by the time this episode comes out, but...
Now, he's a producer. Is he an artist in his own right? Like, does he have a slew of albums and stuff like that?
Yes, he is part of the band... it's slipping my mind, and I'm going to be embarrassed. Mm-hmm. He's part of the music group The National, which I believe...
The National?
Unfortunately, is the group that does Coney Island with Taylor Swift.
Wow, you love Aaron Dessner, except for the song that he gets to perform. I mean, I guess he's performing in this one anyways. He's just doing instrumentals. This song was produced by Aaron Dessner and vocals recorded by Laura Sisk, mixing by Jonathan Lowe, and it was mastered by Randy Merrill. And for the video, it was directed by Taylor Swift. Direction of photography was by Rodrigo Prieto, who also worked on one of her previous music videos, The Man. It was produced by Jill Harden, the video, edited by, I'm going to butcher this, Channeler Haynes? I don't know. And Ethan Tobman was the production designer. There are many more credits, but if I say names for any longer, I'm sure Katie is just going to cut this whole thing out.
You know me too well.
Yeah.
Do you listen to our episodes?
I do. I have them in my feed.
And do you go, oh, she cut that part out?
I don't recall... I've yet to recall a specific moment that you cut out.
Okay.
But...
Because sometimes I'm like, he's going to be so mad that I cut that.
Yeah.
But then other times I'm like, I guarantee he won't remember he even said that.
Cardigan was the lead single for Folklore, Taylor's 8th album.
Do you have any info about Folklore? Because this is the only song from Folklore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't think I have much about Folklore. Do you have anything?
Do you mind if I just, read a few things off
Yeah,
Wikipedia?
sure, totally.
Yeah, so Folklore broke the record for the biggest opening day on Spotify for an album by a female act. 3 of its tracks reached top 10 in 8 countries, namely Cardigan, The One, and Exile featuring Bon Iver. Folklore topped the charts in various countries and is certified platinum in Australia, Denmark, New Zealand, Norway, the United Kingdom, and the US.
Wow.
It is Taylor Swift's 7th number 1 album on the US Billboard 200.
7th out of 8.
7th out of 8, where it reigned atop for 8 weeks and became the best-selling album of 2020, and it also won Album of the Year.
Wow!
Yeah. Taylor also did a... Concert's a strong word. It's similar to the Billie Eilish concert on Disney Plus, where it's just her performing to no one in particular. If you've seen that, it's on Disney Plus. It's called Folklore Long Pond Studios Sessions. And it's just her. She talks about each song a little bit with Jack Antonoff and Aaron Dessner because they helped her write this. And then she sings them, and it's just them in this cute little cabin, and it's really cool.
It's fun.
She wrote this during the COVID-19 pandemic when she should have been on the Lover tour, but that got canceled.
Gotcha.
And
so you can thank COVID for this.
right. On July 23rd, 2020, this is what I really was like worried about us hitting. On July 23rd, 2020, 9 photos were uploaded to Taylor Swift's Instagram account, all without captions.
Yes.
Forming a black and white image of Taylor standing alone in a forest. So like if you're looking at her profile grid, it's one big picture.
Yeah.
She made another post across all her social media accounts announcing that her 8th studio album would be released at midnight.
Wow.
So she literally like gave
Shadow
us
dropped
24
it.
hours.
Yeah.
And it was insane. Like I was going nuts.
And so she gave no lead up to this, and yet it still broke like insane records on release. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's the fastest turnaround for a Taylor Swift album at that point in time, as she beat that 6 months later.
With Evermore.
With Evermore,
Of course.
And yeah. I mean, the album is overall very cottagecore vibes. It was a different sound than she'd ever made. She kind of went a little bit back to her country roots for some of the songs, but a lot of them are more like indie. And
It's a sound that I really like.
I adore this album. But yeah,
okay.
So Cardigan is the lead single and the only one that got a music video.
Yes, Cardigan was the lead single for Folklore. Cardigan debuted spectacularly. So this is going back to where I was writing.
Yeah, sorry.
This is more specific to Cardigan, though.
Right.
Cardigan debuted spectacularly, breaking Spotify's record at the time with 7,742,000 streams on its opening day.
Wow. Wow.
That has since been broken by her later, but she broke the record with this song. After its opening week, Cardigan was streamed, I don't know if this is specifically on Spotify or on all streaming services, 34 million times in the US.
Wow.
Was listened to by 12.7 million people over the radio, and it sold 71,000 downloads.
Wow.
Cardigan was Taylor's 6th #1 single on the Billboard Hot 100, and Folklore as an album debuted on the top of Billboard 200, making Taylor Swift the first artist to debut on the top of both Hot 100 and Billboard 200 at the same time. Cardigan was the first song written for the album, and it was the first song that Aaron Dessner and Taylor wrote together.
That's awesome.
Aaron Dessner said that Taylor wrote the lyrics to his instrumental tracks in only about 5 hours.
Insane.
Like she gave him like the basic vibes and ideas of the thing. He came back with some instrumentals, and then she
Whipped it
pumped
together.
out the lyrics.
Wow.
So the video, the music video was filmed during the height of COVID, and so some very strict safeguards were in place. The crew had color-coded wristbands to show which specific people could come into close contact with Taylor.
Wow.
Because in the nature of recording, she had to be unmasked for extended period of time. So they were trying to create little bubbles.
Right.
Taylor did her own makeup and hair for the video because they didn't.
And she
looks nice.
She looks really nice. I remember watching this for the first time and feeling like she's just like ethereal.
They even went so far as to make the camera controlled remotely on a robotic arm.
Wow.
By an operator, similar to how they do it with like crane cameras and whatnot. So as to allow as many people to socially distance as possible.
That's awesome.
They recorded all of the video indoors in about 2 days. Taylor Swift and the video's editor, the name that I'm gonna butcher again, Channelier Haynes, worked from 2 different locations on set at the same time, like calling each other, I guess, so that the video could be edited on time.
Wow.
So like they weren't doing it at home. They came into the building to edit it. Let's hop into the synopsis. Yeah.
Yeah.
We open to a beat up old piano keyboard. It's an upright. It's in this cottage or cabin of some sort. A beat begins, and Taylor then starts to play the piano. Then we cut to a shot of Taylor singing. She's wearing a simple white nightgown, and her hair is pulled up into some kind of hairdo.
It's like 2 low space buns.
Yeah, it almost kind of feels like we're in the 1800s or so.
I also want to say on her hair, it's like pulled back, but it's not like
Tight.
It's not like she combed it or anything.
It almost seemed like her hair was really short.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it. And also you can kind of see like a lot of flyaways, and it almost looks like second day hair. Like maybe she slept in this and then it's the next day.
We cut to a shot of a wall in the cabin. A clock shows the time being at 1:15. I'm not sure I can't remember if it's dark outside, so I'm not sure if that's AM or PM.
I don't think we ever see outside.
I guess not. So who knows if it's in the middle of the night or in the afternoon.
I want to say middle of the night because it's dark inside the cabin. But that doesn't mean it's...
That doesn't mean anything.
Right.
There is also a picture of a man on the wall. And do you know who this man is, Katie?
No, do you?
I do. Some sleuthing fans figured out that this is her grandfather on her father's side. His name is Archie D. Swift Jr. He served in the Marine Corps from 1938 to 1953, dying in 1998.
Yes, she actually has a song on Folklore that is about her grandpa's service in the Marine.
Oh, yeah? Mm-hmm. And there's also a painting of a cottage near the ocean. Mm-hmm. Do you know the significance of this painting, Katie?
I would imagine it's the lakes, but I don't know.
I don't know. Taylor made this painting in the first week of lockdown.
Aww, that's cute. Yeah. I say the lakes. The Lakes is a song from Folklore. It was actually a deluxe song. It's one of my all-time favorites. That is just about how she wants to leave everything behind and go away to like the lakes in the UK that are just like really secluded and no one's ever there, and just write her poetry and never be seen again.
Gotcha. We come back to Taylor, and she's singing, and then she stops, but like the music still plays and she's still singing. Mm-hmm. But Taylor in the video stops. She notices something on the piano. From the lid of the piano is a golden glittery light. And I liked the CGI for this. Mm-hmm. It felt very ribbony and
right.
It was CGI, but it didn't feel cheap. It didn't feel rough.
The way that the glitter comes out feels like how glitter would come out.
Yeah,
like it's like spilling over, but it's also
way.
like
kind
floating.
Of yeah.
How fog would move.
Yeah, she lifts the lid and is dazzled by what she sees inside. Her face glows. Literally.
I will say her reaction is just a little bit delayed. She really? Opens it and doesn't react until she has it all the way open instead of reacting as she sees it.
Yeah,
Which it's not bad, but I did notice that.
Maybe she's recognizing what she sees in there or something. I don't know. She looks particularly magical in the shot. I just wanted to say, the light has been placed to hit her just right.
She looks pretty.
So this is also the first time that she talks about the object of her affection in the song, when she lifts up and sees the light in the piano. But she does something that was beaten out of me as a child and climbs on the piano and now into the open lid overflowing with golden light.
No, yeah, I would have been murdered by my mother if I did that to our piano.
I think she literally climbs on the keys of the piano.
She does. Her foot is on them.
It's ridiculous.
But you don't hear it.
Oh, no, you don't hear it.
Excuse me, there's a continuity error. Not continuity.
Plot. No, I don't know. She closes. All right. I wanted to note this. She closes the lid in a completely normal fashion as she disappears out of view. This will be important later.
Oh, yeah.
We transition to our second location, a magical forest overflowing with soft light, warm, vibrant greens, moss, enchanted trees, vines, waterfalls, pools of water. Basically a slightly more overgrown Rivendell. And
it's gorgeous.
And completely CGI, except for the small area around the centerpiece of this entire shot, which is an overgrown grand piano.
This is the grand piano that she plays in the Evermore era on the Eras tour.
I wonder if it's the same prop, because she was definitely on a piano that has been decorated
Right.
as such.
Right.
And I hope that it's the same one. I mean, that'd be cool. But
I don't know.
I couldn't get it. The one part of the Eras Tour piano that I or like could identify was that the one of the legs was all warped and bent, and I couldn't really get a good look at the legs for this piano.
I don't know.
So vines drape across this piano like curtains, and a layer of moss covers nearly every square inch of it like velvet. I was very sleep deprived when I was writing this, and so I ended up getting it a little poetic. Not poetic, but like romantic in my descriptions.
I like it. If it's folklore.
Yeah, like I said, it was really magical. Taylor climbs up out of the piano bench, which is equally overgrown. Another note, she climbs out completely normally. Again, this will be important later.
What in the world? I don't know what you're...
A shot of
Pointing
Taylor's
at.
feet
A shot of Taylor's feet touching the
moss.
moss for the first time.
as she steps out onto the bed of moss around the piano. Now, a little reprieve. I looked up Taylor's feet on WikiFeet.
Oh my god.
For research purposes, I assure you. Guess how many pictures have been uploaded featuring her and her implements?
Oh my god. I hate that you used that word.
Her assets.
That's just as bad. Thousands.
Thousands? Give me a number.
1,087.
Okay, you're wrong. 3,054 pictures of Taylor's feet. But I will say that she does have 5 stars on WikiFeet.
She has nice feet.
She has nice feet.
I hate that you did that. That makes me feel so gross. I mean, I've always been curious, but I've never given in to that urge.
I did not peruse anything. I just wanted to see how many pictures there were.
I believe you.
Okay, Taylor takes a second to take in the scenery and then promptly sits on the piano to play some more.
On the piano bench.
At the piano, sorry. Promptly sits at the piano to play some more. Within the piano is a spring of water that begins to overflow as she starts to play. So she's producing water from the piano. And it cascades over the edge of the piano down into a pool of water.
Like off a cliff.
Off a cliff.
This shot of like when it zooms out to show like this waterfall. This is my favorite. It is just
It's like picturesque.
gorgeous.
Yeah. I wonder if there's an area of the world that still looks like this. Or has ever looked like this. But aside from what I've described, there's not much that happens for the next minute. She just kind of plays and the camera moves around her and whatnot.
Can I make a comment?
Yeah, sure.
I watched this a handful of times to see if my hypothesis was correct.
What's up?
But I may be wrong. But I'm pretty sure Taylor doesn't use her pinky the entire music video, and she plays the piano for a lot of it.
She doesn't use her pinky to play a key?
Every shot you get of her playing the piano, her pinky is like lifted and she doesn't play with it.
It must be prim and proper.
No, I
Lift the
noticed it.
pinky.
I was like, I feel like I would use my pinky before my ring finger every time.
Really?
Yeah.
My ring finger is a lot stronger than my pinky.
Well, if I'm playing a chord, why would I play it with my ring finger and not 1, 3, 5? You know what I'm saying? And you don't need to be strong to play a piano.
No, but if you want to play loud.
She's not.
Anywho.
She also has a ring on. I just noticed
Which finger?
her middle finger on her right hand.
Oh.
I don't know that it holds any significance, but I've never noticed it till now.
Eventually, she notices something is up with the piano bench she's sitting on. And so she stops playing. The music keeps going. But she looks down and is like, oh, wow, wait a second. It's the golden light again. So this is the important thing that we were waiting for. This next shot of her climbing back into the piano bench, in my opinion, is the second worst part of the entire film.
Second worst.
We'll get around to it.
This is my least favorite part of the video.
This is the second worst part of the entire video. She climbs into the piano bench, but she doesn't just climb into the piano bench. Something feels so off about this thing, and I can't place down which specific thing is the main
Well, what it
detriment to
looks
it.
like is that, like, in the studio, Taylor, like, steps into something, and then rather than having her actually go down, they, like, edited the clip to, like, move up. so that her body didn't ever move to go into the piano bench, but
She just
rather
descends in.
Right,
Yeah.
right. It looks like they edited it instead of just like making her like
Yeah.
move downward in real life.
But not just that, it feels sped up. It feels so alien. And then all right. So this is what I wrote. Something about this, about how she moves, feels so alien to me. At first, I thought they had sped the shot up for time, because maybe they had to fit it into the specific span of time, and they've recorded for too long or something like that, which may still be the case. Because I slowed down the video to 0.75 speed, and it felt a lot more natural.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I still just think like they just grabbed it and like pulled the scene up over
Yeah.
instead of, I don't know, and it just looks bad.
And then there's that as well. The way that she disappears, she doesn't dip down. She just kind of descends into the piano. A little too fast as well. But it also kind of feels like Taylor could be CGI as well. Specifically because of how weightless she looks from moving too fast. And she feels a little over animated as well. Like she leans over and then moves all at the same time, you know, and she's like doing.
That's fair.
She
Like she does kind of have like a claymation look.
Yeah, like
to
the
her.
animator is overcompensating for how a human would move, you know.
Right.
Anywho, it really bugged me the first time I saw it,
It did me too. It always has.
and it bugs me every single time. Anywho, so we transition to this third location. Taylor swims up and surfaces in a stormy sea, gasping for air. And she treads water, getting her bearings, and looks around, tries to find something to hold on to. And look, there's a piano.
Right.
Just in the ocean. She spots a floating baby grand piano and swims over to hold on
And
to
the
it.
piano is like very, like, considering how it's like in the middle of the ocean.
It's very stable.
Well, it's very stable. It's very clear that it's just on a shaker.
Yeah.
But it's also like not damaged at all. It looks like a perfectly fine piano.
Yeah. I like that.
I don't.
mean, it's all magical.
I don't not like it, but I just like. I've always noticed like that is a very pristine piano.
Like it didn't fall off a ship, you know.
Right.
Like this was placed in the ocean.
Right.
There's a shot in here that is perhaps my favorite part of the video, though. Mm-hmm. It's the camera pulls out and gives a wide, so it goes from like up close, pulls out all the way to give a wide view of the entire area, and it's just her alone in this,
just like clinging for
dear
piano.
life, and then it comes back in up close to her, all in one shot, and I really liked that. It was. I'm always a sucker for long shots.
It makes her feel or
So
seem
small.
very small, very alone, very like it's become less like, oh, we'll just like swim. And now it's like, oh, like no, you're like stranded.
and it especially feels much more powerful because of the part of the song that it's timed with. I can't recall what lyric is happening, but it's like it's part of that.
But I knew you'd linger like a tattooed kiss. I knew you'd haunt all of my what ifs. The smell of smoke would hang around this long, because I knew everything when I was young.
Yeah.
I knew you'd curse me for the longest time, chasing shadows in the grocery line. And then it's back to...
Yeah. Taylor notices that the lid of the piano has that same golden light seeping out of it. She opens up the piano real quick and climbs aboard and jumps right in. And then she climbs out of her old upright piano in her cabin. So she's sopping wet because she just climbed out of the ocean. She sits on her piano bench, freezing cold.
Wait, you forgot! There's a shot of her soaking wet foot
on the keyboard,
which
literally pushing the keys down.
Hurt
Another
my
one for
whole
Wiki
heart.
Feet.
I mean, it is wow. It is a beat up piano, but that hurt my soul. Like that. One, your foot, your whole body weight. Two, it's soaking wet, sopping.
Take care of your piano, Taylor. How could you do this?
Another one for the Wiki Feet for sure.
Another one for the Wiki Feet. She sits on a piano bench, freezing cold, and pulls on a cardigan sweater.
That is just on her bench now.
Just
It wasn't there before.
By her bench, yeah. With stars on the sleeves, and immediately feels warm and safe. And then we cut to credits. I said this before, right? There's credits. There's actual credits.
Can we pause? This is important, and you won't know why.
More important than credits?
You won't know until a lot later. Well, two things. One, she pulls on this cardigan, and it is the cardigan that the Taylor Swift cardigan is modeled after. And so it looks perfect for this time period, but because I have seen it...
Does it look perfect for this time period?
I don't think it's as old as you think it is.
1800s?
I don't think it's 1800s.
No.
I think this is a deliberate, like, she has chosen to live in a house that looks like this, but
a
it is...
single room cabin?
Yeah. Well, you don't know it's single room. You're making so many assumptions.
Okay.
Maybe she's just spending a week at a cabin.
That she's decorated.
We
with
don't
her
know that she
grandpa's
lives
pictures.
there. Yeah, we don't know anything.
I filled
this is her
whole
holiday
place up
house. This is her holiday house.
Oh, okay. So this is Taylor Swift. She has isolated herself for COVID-19 in her holiday house.
Anyway, I've always felt like this cardigan was perfect. It looks like a knit sweater that I think it's time period appropriate. I actually, if I had to guess what this time period would be, I would say early 1900s.
Okay.
And I think that
the
sweater...
cardigan feels like it's the 50s. That's just my...
It could. Yeah. But I could see in the... Anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah. I've always felt like it was perfect. But having seen so many people wear this cardigan and variations of this cardigan, now when I watch it, I'm like, that doesn't fit.
Yeah.
She's wearing like a total modern day cardigan. And anyway.
What's old is new.
But this is the important part.
Oh, I thought that was the important part.
No, so she puts the cardigan on and she holds it up against herself and she looks right into the camera and the camera pans in right up next to her. And that's important. And you won't know why until later. It's important.
The camera pulls up right up next to her. Like a nice
it pans in and she looks right at it. And she, like, takes a great big, like, breath. Or, like exhales.
Okay.
And then the credits roll.
Okay.
And I would also like to note that when the credits roll, it's the song... It's not playing music from the song. The song has ended. Yeah. And so it's just playing, like, background... noise basically. Like, it's instrumental still, but it's just like filler, which is also important.
Okay. Cut to credits.
Daniel's favorite part of the whole...
my favorite part of the whole thing. There are actual credits in this one, and I want this more often.
Credits,
because please, artists and producers, credit your technicians more often in the videos that they work on, in the awards that you receive. Their hard work alongside your own is critical to your success. So please.
That's fair.
That's the end. It was a really simple, short, sweet little
I love this video, and I think a lot of it has to do with the emotions tied to it. Like, I mean, okay, my personal history with this. I was a really big fan through Red, and then my friends bullied me really hard for liking Taylor Swift, and so I felt like I couldn't like Taylor Swift. So I stopped listening to her as often. I would listen to her when appropriate, but I tried to wean myself off of her. And I still loved her, and I still followed her when things were going on, but for the most part, I was separated from her through 1989, Reputation, and Lover. My friends different friends reintroduced me to Lover, and I fell back in love with her and threw myself into her work again. And that was a few months before COVID-19. So I was still introducing myself to things. And then out of the blue, Taylor Swift says, "Hi, 24 hours, here's gonna be another album." And this was the first thing we got. So this was the first surprise drop she'd ever had.
Really?
Every time up to that, it had been months of like, there's something coming, be ready, there's gonna be more, and all of a sudden here it was, and I think I may have cried. I cry all the time.
You may have cried. You definitely cried.
I don't know if I cried at the music video. I know I cried listening to the album, but
now, is this a new MO for her of just, hey, here's my new album?
Yeah, all the time.
Okay.
But anyway, let's
hop into our scores, right?
Yeah.
Personal perception, I gave it a 7.
I gave it a 7.
Cool. Let's start with a song then. What did you give for the complexity and intelligence of the songwriting?
10.
10. I gave it a 9. Performance.
10.
I gave it a 9. I said I gave special mention to the electric bass that drifts into and out of the foreground. It's one of my favorite aspects of the song.
Okay.
For expression,
10.
9.
Sounds like I know where this is going.
that I'm just a little bit lower than you. When I first listened to the song, and I vaguely recall hearing it at the Eras tour, but there was so much going on then that I can't really remember anything.
Right.
But the first time I heard the song, it gave a very special kind of ambiance to it.
That's what I love about it.
Yeah. It moved me in a way. It didn't like bring me to like, oh wow, I'm thinking so much about my life and myself or whatever, but like it was interesting but special.
I feel like the sound of this song is just as poetic as the lyrics in this song, and I love that about it, and it evokes feelings from you somehow.
Yeah. Which the lyricism, I gave that a full 10.
I gave it a 10.
Yeah.
It's very poetic.
Yeah.
And as is the rest of this album.
Going into the message, I don't want to hear your score yet.
Oh.
I'm sure it's going to be a 10 or something.
I don't want to hear your score.
I don't want to hear your score. I don't want to hear your score yet because I've given this a low score, and I'm eager and willing to change it if convinced otherwise.
Okay.
My score, as it stands right now, is a 5 on message.
For the song?
For the song.
Okay.
The song seems to paint the picture of a lover who doesn't care about the singer and chooses someone else over her, who then comes back to her and she just waited for him. The description of him putting her on like a cardigan both before he leaves her and after he comes back just feels kind of gross to me. And it's like he's using her. It doesn't sound romantic. It sounds unhealthy, perhaps predatory. And the fact that she welcomes him back in the end feels like a defeat. It doesn't feel like something that should be aspired for. And not that the song should be a like, I want this in my life, because there are songs that aren't that kind of have good messages. And so in that regard, maybe I could raise it. But it just doesn't feel like a love song.
Okay. I absolutely disagree with everything you said.
Okay.
So, okay, I have always looked at this song. So for those of you who don't know, we explained this briefly in the Eras tour episode, but there is a love triangle in folklore that is between Betty, James, and Augustine.
Yes.
Cardigan is Betty's song.
Okay.
There is a song called Betty, but it's
James's.
James singing to Betty.
Yeah.
So this is Betty singing. Basically, what happens in the love triangle is James is dating Betty, but he cheats on her with Augustine.
Uh-huh.
And then he comes back and he says, I'm sorry, I don't know anything, but I know I miss you. And we don't know if she ever takes him back.
Okay.
This song has always been, in my opinion, a song of I'm in love with you and that will never change. You've always felt like my safe place and you hurt me, but I love you. And it's not I forgive you, and it's not I'll take you back. It's I'm in love with you and that hurts because you hurt me. Because you can still love someone even after they take you through hell.
Yeah.
Because you can't control that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what this song is to me. It's, I mean, like, you drew stars around my scars, but now I'm bleeding. And then she says, and when I felt like an old cardigan under someone's bed, you put me on and said I was your favorite. She's not saying, like, now that we're back together, you've done that. She's saying, at one point in time, that was that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's unclear. It's up for interpretation. Does she take him back? Does she, like, stay away? Maybe she's still figuring things out and she's like, I need time. But that's what this song is to me. And also, this To Kiss in Cars and Downtown Bars was all we needed. And then Augustine is so much about, like, we, like, had sex. She says, To Kiss in Cars and Downtown Bars was all we needed. You drew stars around my scars. But now I'm bleeding. Because all we needed was this simple love, and it made me feel on top of the world. But I guess it wasn't enough, and now I'm hurt like hell. And maybe I'm wrong. But poetry is up for interpretation.
No,
New podcast idea. We go through every song in folklore and dissect the lyrics and their poetry.
Okay, well, I guess what sucks to me is in the last like part of the song. She says she goes through you left, you tried to change it but you couldn't, or I knew I knew the memory of you would stay around and it hurts. And I knew you'd come back to me, and you'd come back to me, you'd come back. And it's almost like her sighing in relief. She's happy that he's back.
And see, this is where I say this is up for interpretation, because she's saying you'd haunt all of my what ifs. So there's two pipelines that could be followed.
Okay.
Two paths. The first path is she's saying, I knew you'd haunt all of my what ifs, and that scared me. I couldn't handle that. And so I'm taking you back. And
so that the memory of you doesn't
haunt me.
Okay.
And when I was feeling that way, you put me on like a cardigan and I felt better.
Okay.
The other path is I knew you'd haunt all of my what ifs, and I knew I'd curse you for the longest time, whatever, but I'm not necessarily taking you back. Like I knew that. And I knew that at one point you made me feel better, but she never says, so I took you back. I knew you'd come back to me isn't her saying, I want you to come back so that I can have you. It's saying, I knew you'd realize you were making a mistake and you'd come back. And I could say, yeah, you made a mistake. Sucks. Move on.
Okay. I'm going to up it to a 7.
Okay.
Because I still think that I'm not going to say that a song should tell you to feel or think a certain way, because that's not cool. And it's not artistic, it's not poetic to just say, and this is how you should think. But I don't think that it's healthy to welcome someone who has hurt you so deeply back into your arms.
Oh, I agree.
And maybe that's the story, is that she does welcome him back, and it's sad. Is why me as a listener, maybe I shouldn't do that.
But also, we don't know that she took him back.
Yeah. But there's the chance.
There is the chance. But there would be the chance anyway.
Unless she explicitly said.
The song could be, I hate you, I hate your guts, I want nothing to do with you. And then he comes back and she goes, wait, but actually, you know what I mean? Like just because she has one feeling doesn't mean that it's gonna. This could very well be like she just found out that he's cheating, and she's like, I know you'll come back to me.
Oh, but she's still in denial about it.
Right, she hasn't processed it. She hasn't gone through the actually, you know what, this isn't good for me. She's like just.
That's fair.
I don't know. Okay. We don't know what it is.
I'm still gonna leave it at 7.
That's fair.
What did you give it? A 10.
I'm changing my score.
Really?
I gave it an 8. And I'm giving it a 10.
Okay.
Because I gave it an 8, and this is something that I say all the time, I feel like, with the message, and you always go, I feel like that's under direction, but I reflected this in direction as well. But then as I was talking about this, I realized, so my original reason was the music video muddied the message.
Yeah.
I disagree with that. It's all poetry. It's all symbolism. It's all up for interpretation. So I give it a 10.
Let's get into the video. What about cinematography?
10.
10. I think it's wonderful, and what they did with the camera is phenomenal.
I agree.
Color.
10.
10.
Gorgeous. I'm not giving all 10s.
You sure?
Promise.
Editing.
9.
I gave this one an 8. Do you have anything to say?
I said, the only thing I feel weird about is when she sees the bench glowing, the cuts feel weird, and I can't pinpoint why.
There are some, maybe not establishing, but like transitory shots that could have been like or if like she saw the bench and then whipped herself around like the other direction and started getting up. We don't have to see her get up to move around, but if we see her starting to move up to get around, then her standing behind it would have made more sense, you know? Right.
It just felt off.
Yeah. I gave it an 8 because Well, I said solid across the board, save for the shot of her coming back into the piano bench. I'm sure that they couldn't do a reshoot because it was shot during the height of the pandemic, but speeding it up pushed the whole shot into the uncanny valley, or doing something with CGI or something, I don't know.
Now, I will say, I have gripes about the CGI there too, but I put that in scenic design.
That, yes.
Okay.
Costume.
I said 9. I said, it's not my favorite, but it looks good and it fits the video.
I gave it a 7.
I knew you'd give it a low score. And you, can I say, no, I won't say it.
What were you going to say?
I said, well, and it wasn't you specifically. I said, I bet any man that watches this video would give it a lower score.
Because it's not sexy?
Because it's not sexy. And they probably wouldn't know that that was why. They probably would just go, I don't know why. I don't like it as much. It's because it's not revealing. It doesn't show off her curves.
Well,
it just hangs.
I noticed when she was in the water, it's a white dress. It doesn't show anything. You know, I don't think
you were disappointed.
And I was disappointed.
No.
No. Because I don't think it was because she wasn't attractive to me. It's just that it was really basic. It was really simple, and I don't know. I think that my gripe with the costume is also from the direction of the entire video.
Okay.
Scenic design.
I gave this a 9. The CGI of Taylor coming in and out of the bench wasn't good. We already discussed that. And the piano in the water was so obviously just a piano on a shaker, which bothered me. But otherwise, it was so stunning. It's always made me feel things. Like, you could take Taylor out of that video entirely and I still would just be in awe of it.
Yeah.
Not that doesn't add anything to it, but the scenic design is that good.
I gave this a 10. I know that I've griped about the shot into the piano bench, and so maybe I should put it down to a 9 because it's been pretty big for me. So it's a 9. I said the set and CGI looked amazing for what they were going for. I'll commend them for that. But I have criticisms of the direction of the video went on the outset, as well as that one shot into the piano. Okay. So for what they intended to do, phenomenal. I don't think that it
should have gone that way. Okay.
Performance.
Performance, I said 8. There's a few times where this is so picky, Daniel.
Yeah.
Where when she's lip syncing her THs, she brings her tongue all the way out.
Yeah, I saw that.
and I went, what are you doing? She does it a handful of times. And then her delayed surprise at the piano in the beginning that I mentioned, that bothered me. So I gave it an 8.
This, just a quick little bit of trivia. She did do lip syncing for this video. The same thing as Lavender Haze, so that the crew didn't know what she was recording. I mean, they could probably read her lips, but
not if she's sticking her tongue out when she says her THs.
I gave her a 9 for my performance because I don't know, it seemed really nice. Now down to direction. What did you give?
I gave this a 10. Wow. I love the direction that they went with this. I think it encapsulates the feeling that this song gives me.
Yeah.
Like, I can listen to the song and I can watch these videos without them being connected to each other, and I would have the same feeling inside. It's the scenic design that does it for me.
Yeah.
And I love that it's not clear cut, like, this is what's happening, here's the storyline, beginning, middle, end. It's all poetic. It leaves it up for interpretation.
Okay. I gave it a 4 for direction. I said, why is it in a cabin? Why is it in a cabin? I listened to this song before watching the video, and the opening sounds for the song sound like high heels on cobblestones. It gave me the vibe of an old noir movie, something like a dame being chased by a hard-boiled detective, not a person who's cooped up in a cabin who dreams of being swept away in a fantasy. It feels like the video part of the music video is referencing and drawing inspiration from experiencing social and physical isolation during the COVID-19 pandemic, and not referencing the song it's playing in the background. The video,
oh my God,
that was made is of high quality and wonderful artistic imagination, and executed with the skill of multiple professionals, but it feels like the video for a different song.
Okay. Argument. First of all, Taylor wrote all of Folklore, not all of Folklore, a lot of Folklore in the Long Pond studio, which is a cabin.
Okay.
Second of all, Folklore is a cottagecore album. The entire album is cottagecore. Every picture she took was either right outside a cute little cabin cottage or inside of a cabin cottage. This is the quintessential.
So the marketing is cottagecore, but the song is not. She's referencing vintage tees and high heels and stuff like that.
Okay, fair, but like, I here is my thing. Cottagecore is like quintessentially people in the modern world
Yes.
who have chosen to live as if they are from the 1800s, 1900s, early 1900s.
Okay.
Alone in cabins, wearing old dresses.
Yeah. So
And so if the whole album is marketed as a cottagecore album, then this does not, it's not out of the normal. To have a 1950s or whatever, 60s cardigan in a cottage from the 1800s is not weird. That's what cottagecore is.
Okay.
To live in the modern day as if you're from
sort of
the
like
olden times.
M. Night Shyamalan's The Village.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the aesthetic, that's why they do it.
Except that's a cult.
Right. Not because it's a cult, but like they do it for the aesthetic and because they enjoy it, and then
yeah. Okay. I don't know.
You don't have to change it, but I feel like you don't have all the information, and so that's me presenting my argument.
I think it's a phenomenal. I think it's a phenomenal video. I just think that maybe there was another way that they could have gone, and
I love this video.
In my research for the song, they like on Wikipedia, there are people who have described like what their understanding of what the song is supposed to be and yada yada, and I can understand it. I still don't necessarily think it was the best way that it could have gone, but I'm just a person. I'm a dude, but it was like their take on it is that it was the 3 stages of every relationship, where you're in the safety of your home before meeting them, and you're like just chilling, whatnot, and you see you meet someone that you really like, you're together with them, and it is magical, and that's her stepping into the magical forest. It's wonderful, it's beautiful, everything is perfect. And then eventually it'll descend into bickering, fighting, isolation, whatnot. That's the storm.
Right.
And then finally either you get rid of them or things get better and you return back to a sense of normalcy and you're back in your cottage. But you're still sopping wet from all of that turmoil. It has changed you. You bring that with you into the next bit. That's the basic take on at least Wikipedia of other people's understandings of the video. And so I don't know. In that take, I understand it, but I had to read that somewhere.
If she had wanted it to be clear, she would have made it clear, but she left it. If it had been any more literal, and if it had been any more modern, I wouldn't like it as much. Yeah.
I mean, I don't need to see Betty and James together and James leaving her for some other lass. I'm not looking for some literal music video. But I don't know, something. This just felt so like last episode with how he was all of a sudden just kind of a military guy. It kind of came out of left field, no reference to it. It feels like the song doesn't reference this, aside from that feeling of wonder and the feeling of peril, and then back to normalcy. You know. That's the thread that holds the song and the video together, in my opinion, in my perspective.
Okay.
And so in terms of like evoking an emotion, I guess, yeah, it works, but it doesn't feel like it tells the same story.
Okay. Let's move on to our Afterglow points.
Afterglow points. We both gave it higher than a 7, so we're both giving it +1 for our personal perception bonus. Sorry, our personal perception point is higher than a 7. Doesn't matter. You know. Down to our callback points. I didn't notice any callbacks personally, except for, I guess, her grandpa, but
Her grandpa
that's more of an Easter egg.
could be a call back, but it's really a call forward because of the song that she wrote for this album about her grandpa.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to argue for it, so I say 0.
Did you notice any other callbacks? Or
Like I said in the beginning, that painting, I think, was inspired by the same feelings she had when she wrote The Lakes.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt like that was the idea, but I don't know.
It could be that she's in that cottage. Isn't that like the idea that that's the cottage that she's in, the cabin?
It could be.
I
don't know.
Okay. So we're not giving any callback points this episode. Our next section is play points. I see you've got a couple in there for ya. Mm-hmm. What is that?
I have 2 points for the green scene. The
green
the
scene?
the green scene.
The green scene.
The one where she's like
in the magical forest.
In the magical forest. It just is gorgeous to me.
That's the 1 point?
2 points.
That's the 2 points.
I give 1 point to just the way that this, like, the imagery and the music is able to evoke feelings in me that I literally cannot describe.
Really?
And I wouldn't expect from either of these.
Yeah.
But they, like, consistently, without fail, are able to do that. So 3 points from me.
Gotcha. I gave it a +1 for that overgrown piano. It is a masterpiece of a prop.
It is.
Wonderful, beautiful. I think it's a work of art.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my 1 point. I didn't have anything else to really say.
That's fair. And then our last thing is, how well does the video benefit the song?
So we're gonna probably disagree on this.
Well, I said I could go 0 or 1 on this. I'm leaning towards a 0.
And I gave it a -1 for the same reasons that I mentioned during my direction critique. It just feels like the video is for a different song.
I disagree. I think if the video had been literal, it wouldn't have matched the non-literal poeticism of the lyrics.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So why don't we split it down the middle and go to 0? Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Cool.
So that puts my total at 122 out of 130 with 6 Afterglow points.
And I'm at 108 out of 130 with 6 Afterglow points. That is an 83.08%.
Mine is a 93.8.
All right. I really liked the video. Like I said, it's a great... My personal perception is a 7. It's a good video. Mm-hmm. I just think that there was some disconnection in the middle there.
Okay. That's fair.
I'm only 12 behind you.
I know. I disagree with your arguments. But anyway, let's go do our suggestions. Would you like to start or should I?
You start.
Okay. So for my song suggestion, by the time this episode comes out, this song will be such old news.
Really?
So this song has gone like mega viral, especially on TikTok right now. It is just, it's so cute. It's a song called If I Were a Fish, and it's by Koruk and Olivia Barton, and they are actually dating. This song is just so cute. I literally listened to it all morning while I did my chores. It's just two people singing together about wishing to fit in, and Koruk actually said that they were crying to their girlfriend about how they felt like they didn't fit in. And Olivia, their girlfriend, said, well, how about we write a song about that to make us feel better? And this is what came of it. The first thing that they came up with was, if I were a fish, I think people would appreciate all the things I am more. And that's where this song came from.
Okay.
And it's super upbeat. It's just like a little ditty, I guess. And it just makes you feel great about yourself. I love it. It's cute.
Okay.
My film suggestion is White Collar. It's actually a series, and you can watch it on Amazon Prime. This was actually the first series that I ever streamed on Netflix. And I binged the entire thing in probably 2 weeks. It's about a white-collar criminal named Neil Caffrey that agrees to help FBI agent Peter Burke catch other white-collar criminals using his expertise as an art and securities thief, counterfeiter, and con man. It's honestly the perfect mix of like overarching story and like self-contained stories within the episodes. And
might I say, the actors are not unpleasant to look at.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. As someone who doesn't watch a lot of like crime shows and especially like dramas, this is the perfect balance of drama and lightheartedness and tragedy and suspension. I love it. And yeah, you'll fall in love with these characters, especially Neil Caffrey. He's played by Matt Bomer, and I am in love with him.
He's gay.
I know, that was my biggest heartbreak as a child. He was my first celebrity crush.
Mm-hmm. He was mine too, and I'm straight.
Yeah.
No, he's not my first celebrity crush, but he was like, not a hall pass. That's not the right word. But like, if I was gay.
Oh my gosh, if he asked you on a date and you said no, I would never forgive you.
If it was a date,
with
sure.
more afterward.
No. I'd say
I would never forgive you.
I would go on the what?
I would never forgive you.
If I didn't?
If you didn't.
If I didn't follow through?
If you didn't follow through.
Are you giving me permission?
More than permission, I am demanding.
All right.
That is my dream, and if you don't do it, I will be devastated.
Okay. My song is... I'm going to push the boundaries of what a song is.
Okay.
My song is a podcast called Midst. All right, but now I know the suggestion of song would normally imply music, but Midst is musical in the way that it is able to tell story. So, Midst, that is Midst, Midst, is a podcast featuring 3 unnamed narrators who tell a story in the most avant-garde way possible. They play with the tropes of storytelling and paint a picture with strokes that I have never heard before. The sound design is immersive, the storytelling superb. The way the narrators weave the story is so natural, so swift, it feels almost like a dance. Check it out. I think it's fantastic. They're re-releasing the episodes under Critical Role's podcast network. Critical Role, spelled R-O-L-E, not R-O-L-L. Critical Role is a D&D podcast. Show. They do a podcast as well. But it's phenomenal. But if you're impatient, you can hop on over to Midst's own feed and listen through about season 2, I think. But I've already listened through the first 4 episodes like twice already. They're phenomenal. Then they're really short too, but it's great. Check it out. It's wild. You need to listen to this.
Okay.
For my film, it's a rom-com called Long Shot. Mm-hmm. Have you heard of this one?
I don't know.
Okay, so here's my synopsis. Like my elevator pitch. Mm-hmm. Seth Rogen is a freshly unemployed investigative journalist who is suddenly hired as the speechwriter for his childhood crush and babysitter, Charlize Theron, who happens to be running for president.
Oh, T.
It's a rom-com with some adult themes in it. I mean, come on, it has Seth Rogen as the star. What can you expect? So, I can't do Seth Rogen's voice, but he does the exact same voice in every single show of his. Just look him up. You might recognize his face.
He was in the Mario Bros. Movie.
He was Donkey Kong.
I've literally never seen this man in my life.
Okay, well, yeah, now you have. But he, it's funny. It's quirky. It's a little heartwarming, and I like it.
He's Canadian.
Sorry, I take it all back. He's Canadian. No, I'm joking. We love Canada, Canada.
I love Canada. My aunt lives there.
Why don't you marry it then?
Oh, that was so clever.
All right. I think that's it for this episode.
That's it.
Thank you so much for listening.
Next episode, we'll be taking a look at I Don't Want to Live Forever. So be sure to go and watch that music video before then.
If you love listening to our show, please leave a rating or review on whatever platform you're listening on to help our show be seen by more people.
You can find our scores for every music video we've discussed on our website, and that'll be listed in the description of this episode. And you can follow us at OSOF Podcast on all social media platforms.
Thanks again for listening. I am Daniel Francis.
And I'm Katie Ludlow, and this has been Our Songs.
Our Films.
You have no idea what our song sounds like. Oh, there you go.